Thank you very much, Stefan. You know, Gene, we're not as fortunate as some of the guests because you take Terry. He had his whole CV read out before he came on stage. Yesterday, the same thing happened to some of the speakers. And all we get is to take a few pictures of the audience. But here we are. We're going to take you through. We've got a few minutes. Yeah, wave to Gene. He's going to talk as well. He's not just here for the pictures. But this is going to be a bit about NDC and a lot about innovation. I just want to say a couple of words before I hand over to Gene. For IATA, as Stefan says, this is the first IATA NDC hackathon. And what this really means is it's a big milestone for the industry, I believe, for the NDC program, but for the industry, because what we're trying to do with NDC is bring the world of airline indirect distribution from a world of, call it legacy, whatever it is, that works well, but to the world of internet. And by bringing it to the world of internet, to modern technology, all of a sudden, you bring it to the world of innovation, where people who can't go and play with Edifact, but they can go and play with APIs and build stuff. And that's what this was about. That's what this was about. It's fantastic news for us. So we've got the standard, 15.2, since 1 September, and we've demonstrated that it really has made this movement into the new world. So how did we get to this hackathon? A teeny bit of history, take 30 seconds. When we were doing our budget last year, I was talking to Herr Dr. Müller. Where's Claude Müller? There you go, Claude. I said, Claude, next year, why don't we do a hackathon? And he said, well, Yanik, no, stop. It's too much. Slow down. Then Gene from Tnooz, sometimes in March, contacted us and says, guys, we're doing these hackathons across the world. Do you want to sponsor? Do you want to engage with us in some way? We had a couple of conversations. Then we said, well, wait a minute, Gene. NDC, we're doing some sexy stuff. So why don't we partner together to do a hackathon that would be around the theme of NDC in partnership with Tnooz? And Gene, you take it from there.
You bet. First of all, big shout out to Terry. I've never seen a more eloquent 30-year summary of where this business has come. Thanks, Yanik. Who remembers in today's market who made the most money during the gold rush in the 1840s in the United States of America? I'll give you the answer. That label.
Just
Levi Strauss. The guys who sold the picks and the shovels and the blue jeans to the dreamers who were prospectors made a lot of money. They're not remembered as prospectors, but they are remembered as merchants of picks and shovels and stuff that people really needed to mine for that gold. So keep that in mind as you look at these, I call them youngsters, they're adults. Everybody's a youngster to me. Keep that in mind when you see a couple of these products in a couple of minutes. And they are product prototypes, trust me. They're product prototypes because people will be doing this with their own personal in-flight entertainment system coming to a cabin near your airplane pretty soon. So to pick up on Yanik's theme here, we started doing hackathons at Tnooz about the time that the NDC standards were a whiteboard exercise, 4 years ago. And we've gained a lot of experience in how to pull the industry together, which we cannot do without the support of sponsors like those in this room, IBM and HP and Airbus Labs, and on and on and on, CETA and Make It Social. A lot of people that you've been interacting with this week. But what really makes it go is the dreaming and the hustle of the three teams that you're going to meet in a couple of minutes. So I just want you to pay attention a little bit, but also expand your mind and have a cup of coffee with these guys later, shake their hand, and talk about how what they're doing may help your business. And with that, we'll bring them up on stage. So Yanik,
should we just watch your video first?
Well, absolutely.
Yeah, let's just see. We're just going to show you a video of the 2 days, Saturday, Sunday, in the Bauhaus. Can we have the first video, please?
Welcome to THack Hamburg.
Co-presenting this hackathon is IATA.
Building an application where you can upgrade your seat in flight.
These applications help you find the perfect place to meet when you and your team members or your friends are spread all over the world and you don't know what is the best place that you can meet.
It is Wanderlust. It's a desire to go somewhere else, but which does not always have to be very specific.
With Meet Me Halfway. Cool. Cheers, guys.
Perfect trip.
Commentary would help me meet me halfway.
The PI, so Rocky, come forward.
What we've achieved here, I think, is fantastic for us, for the team.
It really is amazing, and you should continue on what you're doing, and really, you know, make travel proud.
Commentary.
Right, shall we start with the first presentation?
Yes.
Seat treats, Gabriel? Oh, man, he's cool. Look at him. Give him a warm round of applause, please. Come on. Gabriel, you've got 2 minutes. Yeah. And here's the clicker.
First of all, it's an absolute pleasure to be here. My team and I were thrilled about this opportunity, so thank you. Yes. I would like to say thank you, Jean. Thank you, IATA. This is really nice. I'm going to start by telling a story. Last weekend, we three met for the first time. We were going to play the whole weekend, try to build something cool with technology. What could we do in a weekend that would be simple yet useful, that would empower travelers? We thought about like the passenger experience, what situations that do come up, and we found out that there's some annoying situations that like passengers have to experience sometimes. For example, you want to sleep in the airplane, but you don't find the right place to put your head. Or maybe the passenger next to you is leaving your head in your shoulder, and you don't want that. Maybe there's a baby crying, obviously. Or you have to see things that are not really nice. So, and always, you know, the stranger sleeping in your lap. So we saw this, and we wanted to give passengers a tool for them to have an option in these kind of situations. So we built SeatTreat. SeatTreat offers you the opportunity to, once you're in the airplane, use an app to upgrade your seat and get a better seat. This is the app. This is a working app. This is just the snaps of the app. So here in the app, in the corner in the left, you have the hot seats. Those we know they're your like the best seats for you, because we know your what you traveled before and which seats did you choose. So those are there. So for example, I've been really tired and I really want to sleep, but there's this person next to me that's making sounds and like snoring a little bit. So I wanna improve. Like I click in the 300 euro and I choose a premium economy seat. Okay, that's nice, but it's 23 degrees. I want something a little bit more chill. And I made a lot of money this weekend, so I want to get something better. Let's go higher. So I'm gonna go back and I choose the 999 euro first class seat. And it's 21 degrees, so it feels better. So yeah, I can bid for it, and if I bid and my bid remains the highest for a couple of minutes, the seat will be assigned for me. To make all of this happen, we use the IATA NDC API for the seat availability, and we use the Airbus API to know special airplane information like the temperature. And all of this was hosted on IBM Bluemix for the backend. This is what 3 people that just met managed to do in a weekend. And this is the team, us, again, Jan, Andrew, and me, Gabriel. They're over there. Like, I would like them to stand up because they did a lot of great work. So, yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gabriel. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, you take a seat there. Right, next one. Ralph from Smart Cabin. Please welcome Ralph.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun this weekend as well, and we came here I'm Raphael from Zapex. We're a tech startup, and I came here together with my co-founder, Oliver, spent the weekend building Smart Cabin. So Smart Cabin, since we're not from the travel sector, we started out, like many of the other teams, looking at the customer journey and looking for some problems within that journey that we could solve with a smart device. And when we got to the, after the boarding, getting off that crowded bus, after we got to the, can I go back? Yeah, it's kind of jumping around. Yeah, so after we got off got onto the plane, we realized there's a bit of a problem because all of those smart devices that we wanted to build something really great for suddenly weren't so smart anymore. And unless we could get people to somehow preload things, we weren't going to have very much luck doing anything in this part of the journey. So we looked at this and we thought, well, what is this really? Well, this is an audience. And what this audience is missing is a channel. So we built a channel. Quick back of the envelope calculation, 1 million flights a year. Flight segments, that's 200 million flight passenger hours of a profiled, qualified audience. If this was the internet industry or a media company, right, that audience would be quite valuable. We believe it would be. But in this industry, it seems that that particular audience is worth less than 50 million a year. So how can we change that? Well, we thought, well, all we have to do is get to about 3 euros per flight passenger hour, and then you could make more in this part than you do in moving all of the nice aircraft around. So introducing Smart Cabin. Smart Cabin for your smart device. I'm having a little trouble here with this device. It's a client-server solution. On the server, we have NDC. We have the Airbus API from the Airbus sponsor. Obviously, local streaming. It's a local Wi-Fi hub. And when there is internet access on board, we can hook up to the CETA APIs, bring on-air service to the passengers. On the client side, the client we built, we have in-flight catering. Obviously, it's a carousel, so you just go right into you open it up, you go right into it, there's a carousel, you can do the in-flight catering, order to your seat, duty-free shopping. Cool things, notifications are now possible, and some really great experiences, internet access. Very important, no app to download, no landing page, credit card details to try to work into your device. This is just connecting to the open access point on the airplane, being redirected right into the app. This is what it looks like. This would be the in-flight shopping carousel. You can just move, it adapts to the different types of devices. You build a cart, check out, things are brought to you, or you can pick them up at the gate. Media jukebox, right, existing stuff. Notifications are fun, because you can use your existing notification systems to bring information to the passenger, or let the passenger request, tell me when the bathrooms are available. Seat-to-seat messaging. It really opens up a lot of possibilities. Multiplayer games, right? Could be fun, and if you don't want to do multiplayer games and you want to finish that project with your team, well, why not collaborative document editing on board? And of course, in-flight seat upgrades, because that inventory really isn't expired anymore if you can reach your passengers when they're on board. One more. Okay, so the reason why we were able to build this in just 24 hours is because we're using Zappix as the back end, so we were able to directly, easily tie into the NDC endpoints with our clients. And we were able to combine those endpoints with the other endpoints from the other sponsors and build a dynamic application in just 24 hours. And that is, if I can get this to work, sorry, it should say Smart Cabin again. And I think, well, having been here the last couple of days, I think this is truly one of those areas where you can improve the customer experience and improve the bottom line at the same time. So thank you.
Thanks, Raph. Yanik, if I may, I just want to make one very brief point. Those of you who were here for the first day plenary, remember our friend Akbar from Qatar? When he was talking, when asked about media on board, imagine the airline as a media company. He alluded to that when he was talking to all of you about many of the business opportunities that are available here. And you just saw something that was put together in a weekend that actually imagines something similar. So keep that in mind as you look at how to apply these things.
And they built it during the weekend.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Right, now please welcome, big round of applause to Riccardo from Mashopolo. Can I have the clicker, please, Will? Clicker?
He has I have this one.
You need the clicker. Oh. Whoa.
Thank you. Does it work? Okay,
big green one is forward.
Okay. Hello, I'm Riccardo from Italy, and I'm here with my colleague Gianluca. And we, with other 3 guys, Diego and Sandro and Charlie Orford, built Mashopolo, which is a new platform to get the right recommendation at the right moment using natural language processing from Watson. So, here it is. You have Mashopolo data-driven travel offers. Why data-driven? The point is that people don't like to click. People don't like to put the data and search for something. They need insights. The new experience for tomorrow is to just receive the data, which is contextually okay for what you're doing in that moment. So we used the API offered by Bluemix, IBM, and especially Alchemy, which is a natural language algorithm that analyzes unstructured data to get structured results, meaningful to what data you're pushing onto. So it gives you give something that is not structured, like for instance, a web page, a random web page, and you get back entities which are sorted by meaningfulness. And then we connect to several other APIs, like IATA, of course, and CETA for getting geolocalization data, and Hotelbeds to receive hotels offer. So this is an example. You can embed what we did. Mashopolo is just a widget. So a widget is just a part of a web page that you can embed, and the experience is just into the web page. You shouldn't move from where you're browsing. In this case, I used the Hamburg tourist website, and you can see that Mashopolo automatically generates the right flight offers for you. You don't need to do anything. You just embed the widget, and it all automatically understands which kind of offers are the right offers for that page. So this is how we did it. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, of course, yeah. There is an input bar, and you can put, this is just a demo. This is not how it actually should work, but it's just to educational purpose, I would say. And you just put the URL of the website, and you generate automatically the iframe, which is the embed code, and this is the widget. You get it as a result, like in Google. So yeah, you get the starting position, which is Milan, because we have the possibility to ask to the user's browser to allow to use their geolocalization data. And so we, through the data, get the right airport and the right destination, giving the context from Bluemix. And then also, we get the hotel offers for the arrival. So this is just a proof of concept. Actually, you could eventually choose how many people are going, or how many, I don't know, nights, if you want to do that, if you want to return back. And then you have the checkout. You can see that, yeah. So with just one web view, you could book a flight and a hotel, and you pay just in one place. Remember, you are not leaving the web page you're browsing. We tested it with Facebook events, we tested it with Eventbrite events, and Wikipedia, and it works. It worked, really. It was cool. Thanks, Watson. Yeah. And this is the last one. Yeah.
Riccardo, would you take a seat?
Yeah, of course.
Can we have the second video, please? As soon as you're ready.
NDC will help all the players in this ecosystem to flourish and to prosper.
Well, I think the biggest advantage will come when the standard becomes a universally adopted way for all of the airlines to accept bookings.
It's really great. I mean, the queries that we could run against this API before we had to go to different APIs, and even some things that I haven't seen any APIs doing.
What I like most about the API from NDC is it was actually well documented, and there was example code on GitHub. It didn't work at first, but the guys got it working really fast.
There you go. That's just the best way for us to demonstrate that the API works is to throw it to 100 of these guys, and if they can do stuff, it kind of works. I can guarantee if it didn't work, they wouldn't hesitate 1 second to tell us it was a load of, right? So, Gene, do you want to ask these guys some questions about it? We've got 5 minutes, yeah?
Sure. We didn't spend much time at all talking about business models during this hack. The judges, Abrar Ahmad from the NDC Fund, and Frank Stoyer from Blacklane, and Jorge Diaz from Fly-In, who's consulted with IATA on the NDC, were all looking for prototypes for what we could do with the tools. But now that we've seen it and you've had time to think about it, I'm struck with some of the obvious business opportunities. I mentioned Media Jukebox, but Riccardo, that widget that you described is capable of being placed places. What are some of the places that could be inserted that an airline here might want to hear about as a possible business model for distributing their flight services?
Oh, yeah. Actually, one of the main topic of this conference, because I've been here for 2 days, was about distribution. And distribution is how you get the right content to the right people in the most smooth and seamless way. And NDC is doing a great job at that, because we had the opportunity, in this case, to connect the publishers to users. So, in a way, you're just plumbing all those figures together, and standards are meant for this. So, yeah.
Great. Gabriel, can you talk a little bit about how your team came together? You met these guys, you did what you did, but there are many others who came together over the weekend and did things in a 24 or 30-hour period.
I am a business guy, and I just moved to Hamburg, and I was looking for people, and I arrived there and I started meeting people, and there were a lot of developers that didn't have a team, and they were looking to do something cool for the weekend, like have some fun. And we ended up meeting together, but there were so many people that were like different developers, different backgrounds, different skill sets. And they all were very excited to play with like new technologies and see where the possibilities are with the IATA NDC in the business travel. And yeah, yeah, that was a really cool thing to do.
Great. One question, and then maybe Yanik has a question for Ralphie. You've got a fair amount of experience as a developer and as a software guy. You heard a comment right at the tail end of there where some of the recommendations from the developers was speed it up, speed it up, speed it up. We've been in development with the NDC standard for a couple of years now. This is really the first few weeks of seeing its implementation, so it's natural that there's baby steps. Where do you think we could go with this as a tool quickly so it could be adopted inside many of these organizations and utilized with their partner networks?
I would say go to the customer and start to look at solutions and enable those solutions through NDC and do some rapid prototyping, and then you'll see the business case. And with the business case, everything else will follow. That's how we've looked at it, and it's really, there are tools available for it, right? And NDC is a great standard, and they're enabled on tools like Zapex. So there really isn't any barrier to innovation on the technical level.
If I could just make a comment on that comment, rapid prototyping is something that may not be a comfortable concept to a lot of developers in the traditional airline business and many of the travel extensions of that. I mean, you may have heard people at Google talk about failing fast. That's talking about getting businesses and products up and running, and if they don't measure up against a high standard, you just literally back them out and put what else is in development. But you can't have that mentality unless you have a fast prototyping, rapid mentality about R&D. And many in the industry have set up extensions of their business. Lufthansa has the Digital Innovation Hub in Berlin, away from the home office of Frankfurt. Airbus BizLabs has a Hamburg office away from the building of aircraft. So there's some fundamental structural things that are happening in the industry already. And now we've seen some examples of how, at the concept level, some of these things can come together even over a weekend. So over to you, because you're the architect of NDC. So.
Well, I think just on that, we've got 1 minute left. First thing, rapid deployment links into what the STB, the Passenger Service Conference, have agreed in terms of a more agile way for IATA to develop standards, the alpha version, the beta version before the full version. We've learned from NDC, so it can be a lot more agile and help the early adopters. The beauty of this is that we've been talking a lot about NDC. And why should we me to say this? But there were other APIs out there. So this is the result of combining airline shopping with other APIs. Last question, each of you, really, really quick. Here you are, young guys. You want to innovate. You want to deliver best customer experience and value to the airlines. What message do you have for airlines? Because they're always complaining. They want to innovate. They want to do stuff. So what's your message to the airline?
Be smart.
You've got 10 seconds. Go.
Be smart, because I assume everybody in this room is smart enough to understand the big potential of this sort of multiple integration. As you see, there are many pieces that you can combine to do smart products. That's it.
Yeah, as I said before, start with the customer, and everything else will follow. The tools are there to build the business case. You can mock databases if you want. You don't have to put confidential data out there. You can run hackathons, right? You can do online competitions to get market feedback. You can do pilots. And there are lots of ways of doing this, and follow the business.
I would say, like, give technology to people to play with and let them fail really fast. Like, when you're building a startup, you have a time where if you don't do something before that, you will fail. So, and that time is usually really short. So let them do something before they fail. Let them give them access to failure. Give them access to create a product that might work, might not work, but for you it shouldn't be such a big problem. And if it works, it might actually be very, very interesting as an airline.
Great. So use these guys to be agile. Use them to test, to try, to fail, to screw up, but then there'll be success out of it. Thanks, guys. Gene, I think there's one last thing, sure. one last person we wanted to mention.
Yes. Thank you for reminding me.
Oh, it's important.
And he better be in the room. Thibaut, you in the room? Please stand up.
There he is. Here he is.
There he is. Here's a guy I had about 200 phone calls with, and I didn't meet till last Friday. So we were able to put this together virtually with great tools that have been built by many people at NDC, but here's a guy that got it done.
He program managed it all the way to the end. He did a fantastic job. Please applaud Thibaut, please. Thank you.
And if I may, to the developers, the real stars of the show last weekend.
Thank you very much, guys.